Hey everyone, I'm Kate Kennedy and I'm here with day 72 of 100 Days of Kane, PA. And over the years, lots of people have moved to Kane and have felt very welcomed and have had a great experience of living in a neighborhood. And today we're going to talk with Andrea Lanik, who her family, although they've been connected to Kane for quite a few years, just moved to town in June. And she's going to share some stories about what her experience has been like living in a neighborhood for the very first time. And the very first town that she's done that in is Kane. So I can't wait to hear her stories today. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you around and we're going to walk over and say hello. Hi, Andrea.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for having us and for taking time to talk with us today.
Sure.
Okay, so
happy to do it.
Well, thank you. So we're going to talk about, first of all, you grew up in the area. Where is it that you grew up?
I grew up in Westline, which is about 20 minutes from here. And then after high school, of course, I moved away, just like everybody does. I went away to college. And after college, my husband Joe and I started my career in New Jersey as an architect. We lived in New Jersey for about 6 years. And that's where we started our business, The Laughing Owl, as a hobby. And in 2012, we decided that it was something we could do full-time together. And we decided to move back here to the area. So we moved to Cushicqua.
Okay, so Cushicqua, which is near where you grew up.
Yeah, that's near where I grew up. We moved into my grandma's house. And we grew our business in the garage there for about 2 years before moving into a storefront on Fraley Street. So our first shop was where Lobo Fitness currently is today.
Okay, so I think it's interesting because you grew up in Westline, you moved back to Cushicqua, you graduated probably from Bradford then, not because it wasn't from Kane.
Yep.
However, you ended up establishing some relationships and opening your business in Kane.
Yeah, so we were growing our business, as I said, in our garage in Cushicqua, and my uncle was in the Kane Rotary and he invited us to come speak at Rotary one day. Just to talk about the business and what we were doing. So we did that and we met a lot of really nice people. We got connected to the Rotary and to the Chamber. And then after that, the Kane Historic Preservation Society had come out for a visit.
We love them,
to Cushicqua.
Wednesday nights.
Yeah, they just wanted to come see the shop, so they came out. And at that point, we were still, our son Oliver was still a very young baby. We had decided to put him in daycare during the day so we could work in the shop, and we decided to bring him to Kane for daycare. So after that, we had him here in daycare. We had, these new friends that we made. We were connected with the Chamber, who was showing us different spaces available. And that's when we decided to move the shop to Kane in 2014.
All right, so 2014, you moved the shop into where Lobo Fitness currently is. You were renting that space.
Yep, we rented it.
And then when did you buy the building that you're in?
We bought the building we were in 2016, January of 2016.
Okay, so you've been there for about 3 years,
Yeah.
over 3 years
Yep.
now. But you were still living in
Cushicqua. We were still living in Cushicqua. We didn't really have any other plan in our head other than, just to live there and do the commute, I guess you could call it, into Kane every day.
So what was that commute?
It was 20 minutes, probably in the winter a little bit longer.
Because it's a big hill coming from there.
And it started to get hard, because our whole lives were here. Our business, our son Oliver went to school here. Henry was in daycare. All our friends were here. Every activity we ever did was here in Kane. And of course the business. So it did become a lot to, be kind of disconnected from where we were really wanting to spend our time.
So you basically were going home to sleep.
Yeah, we came, we were in Kane all the time. We went home to, just be at home, but
at this point you didn't have any plans to move into town.
No, we talked about it, but not, it was just more of like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to drive 20 minutes every day?
But then this past June you moved in. So can you tell us how that happened?
Yeah, so it all just fell into place really kind of magically. We drove by our house that we live in now one day on the way to a friend's, and we said, oh, look, that's for sale. But wouldn't it be nice if it had some more land, because we're so used to living, not really close to any neighbors, and to have some room to run. And we found out that it did have some land, and then we thought, oh well, we need a house with a garage because we have a lot of equipment and everything, and some of the equipment that Joe uses to help upkeep the stuff at the shop also. And it did have a garage, and it just all worked out perfectly. We were able to sell our home in Cushicquaw really easily, which I still to this day feel like knocking on wood about. But yeah, it all worked out. So we moved in. We moved in June, at the beginning of June.
And is this the first time that you have ever lived in a neighborhood?
Yes, I never have. I mean, growing up in Westline was very rural, so I didn't have any, real neighbors. Even when we lived in New Jersey, we lived, near bigger cities, but it was in the suburb, and we weren't within walking distance of town or we didn't have a whole lot of connections. Mm-hmm. It was hard to meet people there because you go to work and then you go home and that's kind of it. So,
so you moved into town in Kane. What were you thinking and feeling before you moved in?
I was a little bit nervous just because I didn't know what it was going to be like, but everybody was so happy for us and so excited and so welcoming, and we just knew we were making the right choice because we just felt that it was right. Everybody was, on our side, so yeah.
What's it been like for you living here in your new house?
It's been great. It still seems like such a luxury to be able to just drive a couple minutes to pick something up from the store, or to be able to walk uptown to get something to eat, or to walk to work. And then our kids are going to be able to walk to school for their whole school career, which is awesome. They have friends nearby, just in a couple blocks. Some of their best friends live right by us. One's here right now, which is amazing.
I know. So. I feel like every time I stop by, there's more than just Atlantic kids here.
When we first moved in, some of the other neighbors who didn't know who we were yet, we met one of the neighbors once, and she said, "Oh, so you have several kids, right?" And we said, "No, just the two. Just we have lots of friends come over." So that was pretty funny. But
I think that's really nice too, because you already had the friendships established, but this has just been a way for you to deepen them, and for your kids to really strengthen.
It's been so great just to be able, like I said, everybody was so welcoming, and all of the friends that we already had were so happy to have us. So it felt really great, and we're happy to have our kids grow up alongside their friends too.
What are some of the ways that you spend time with your friends? Like, what are some of the things that you do around town or on the weekends?
Well, for example, last night we went to our first Kane Wolves football game.
Yay!
So even though we've had our business here for so many years, we never went because it was, on a Friday night. We would have had to find something to do for dinner, and then, keep the boys occupied until it started, and then drive home late at night. So last night was our first time. We walked up to our friend's house for a pizza party. We walked to the game, and then we walked home, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was perfect. It was the perfect night.
And you feel safe enough to be walking.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. And so what are some other things that you love about being Kane? I know that early in the morning you have some hobbies that you kind of took you by surprise.
Yeah. So I run in the mornings. In Cushicquaw, where we used to live, it was at the very bottom of a valley, and there was only 2 roads, and they both went uphill, like straight up the mountain. So when we moved, I was a little bit nervous getting to learn some new routes and things like that, but I was so amazed that I can run out, from my house just a couple blocks and be on Highland Road, which is so beautiful rolling hills. I can run out JoJo, which is beautiful, or now that it's getting dark in the morning, I can run in town, which is very new because I would have to strap on a headlight and all of these different vests and lights and stuff to make sure I didn't get hit. And now I can just run in town, and it's awesome. It's great. Yeah. Every morning I feel so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome that you just from your home can run.
And that I also have friends to run with me now.
That is great for you. And one of the things I wanted to make sure we talked about too was in your business, something that is really exciting for us in Kane is it's pretty much internet based. So you could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And you chose to come to Kane.
Well, so one of the other reasons that initially brought us back to this area was because of the slower pace of life and the lower cost of living, so that we knew we would be able to sustain our business working together without too much of a problem, and be able to afford for both of us to do that full time. And it turned out to be the perfect place because, especially right in the borough, we have the internet we need. We have the UPS hub, which is right outside of town, which enables us to send products that we create anywhere in the world. One analogy that I like to use is that one time we had to send a project to Hawaii, and we got it to UPS at 7 p.m. on a weeknight, and by 10 a.m. the next day it had been delivered.
To Hawaii.
So, from Kane to Hawaii overnight. Yeah, it's really cool.
That is really cool.
So also being based here in Kane, we can kind of be more competitive against other bigger print shops in the country. And so that also enables us to ship all over the world because, you know, people come to us for the quality, but also, you know, other reasons too. And it just allows us to do that. So
the prices can be more competitive because the cost of living is a little bit lower
Yep.
than like a New York City or LA or something like that. Yeah.
And also everybody, I mean, ever since we even moved the business here, before we even started living here, is so supportive of it. And people just love to see businesses thriving here. And it's just a great community.
So I know that you felt very welcomed from the very beginning, from the business to moving in. Is there any other ways that people encouraged you or made you feel welcome in any of those, in your business or in your home, or any other reasons that you feel like this has been a really good choice for you?
Well, even from the beginning, people came out and helped, you know, offered help when we were renovating. We had, you know, 2 little babies, so people were helping babysit or helping paint or do all that kind of stuff. And then when we made the move to our new house, you know, everybody was, of course, offering help moving, you know, watching the kids, just anything, and I feel like it's the same way with anybody. If anybody ever needs a hand, people are always willing to kind of jump and do that.
It sounds like you feel really connected.
Yeah.
Like you, and it sounds like you're busy. What are some of the? I feel like there's always something to do in Kane. And so what are some of the events or things that you've done to stay connected and to have this full life that you have?
Well, I mean, of course, Joe and I, we try to like take part in all the, you know, the different live music, the different events that they have at the bars and restaurants. But then, of course, with the kids, we're always happy to, you know, just last weekend we were painting over at the park, and that was great because they got to be involved, and it's a place they love to go play, so they were able to help. Even things that, you know, that Brandy does the National Night Out for the firemen and the police officers.
Yeah, so kids can get to know.
That's great.
The
Kids get to do stuff. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. Trivia night's awesome. And now that we live in town, we can have a babysitter come right to our house, which we couldn't do before. So yeah, that's been great also.
That is awesome. I'm so happy that you're happy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we wrapped up today?
Just that even though I guess, you know, of course anybody is hesitant to make a giant life change like moving homes with a family, we just knew from the beginning that it was the right thing, and we were so happy we did it.
And you haven't been disappointed
We
since.
haven't looked back. No.
And you have this beautiful hydrangea. I just have to point out this bush. This is huge. This is gorgeous. This
That's
is right in your
how I knew it was
backyard.
right. Yeah, it's my favorite flower. So
Perfect. Meant to be.
yeah. Yep.
All right, Andrea. Hey, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
You did a great job. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I always love to hear how welcome people feel into our community. And it's so awesome that Joe and Andrea chose to have their business right here in Kane. They could be anywhere in the world, but they chose Kane, Pennsylvania to be the home for their business and to raise their family. And a big part of that was all of you guys making them feel so welcome. So I was wanting to ask you, what have people in Kane done throughout your time here to make you feel welcomed, loved, encouraged, that keeps you here? I'd love to hear you comment below. So please take a moment and think about that and share those stories. Thank you as always for tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow for day 73.